All right, friends, welcome back. This is part 2.
Yeah. All right, boys.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Gritty Bowman podcast. We are here with Corey Miller from Triple X Archery and Jason Phelps from Phelps Game Calls. And we are up here at the Full Draw Film Tour in Portland. And you guys were in the audience. You did a little shindig at the beginning, which was
bugling
marvelous.
skill in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
You shared a call.
We shared calls.
Yeah, we were that guy. I was that guy.
That was brilliant.
Or Corey was that guy.
It's
Yeah.
it's a little disgusting.
Yeah.
It's good to share.
It is.
I think it was very good.
It is good. It is good. So
Was it
anyway,
good?
It was all right.
give us a
I've had better.
Okay, so you guys are wearing pink hats. What's the story on that?
It's a new black.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's thinning. You look good.
Well, they were the Full Draw Film Tour, I guess, is auctioning off a hat
Yep.
at each show, and we weren't rich enough to win the bid,
Yeah.
and then they asked all of us who
The hat. By the way, the winning bid was what, $800?
$800. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody.
Yeah.
We went out at 400. I think it was 450.
Yeah. When you put your hand up for $400 for the hat.
My heart was pounding.
He told me I couldn't tell his wife. He was like, "I'm going to buy it, but you can't tell my
Can't
wife."
tell the wife because she's going to want a receipt, and I'm terrible about receipts, and so
Okay.
we backed out.
Backed out. This is too rich for you.
Yep.
Went for $800.
Yeah.
And then.
They asked all of the people who started bidding, would we all donate $100? And I don't know how many people we had up there that all raised their hands. And we all
They
came
needed a
up.
bloody calculator. He was
Yeah.
up there going.
Yeah, I think the final tally was 17.
No, it was
17.
25.
Yeah, 800 plus the 17.
Yeah,
that
right.
came up.
Because
See, well, of the three of us, the only one that can do math here is the engineer.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, of course, he knows 17. He's already done the math. I'm like, 2,400 was the number they named. That's all I'm remembering.
yeah.
I couldn't do the math and deduct it,
Well,
but
he's
that
already
was
deducted the cost of the hat and everything. So
Yeah. That's right.
He looks at pure profit.
The hat did generate $2,400
Yep.
tonight.
Yep.
4 wishes for warriors.
Yep.
Yes.
And then something else cool that happened. I don't know if you're going to get to that, but
Oh, yeah.
the bow raffle, which is the big raffle of the night.
Yeah, every time at the Full Draw Film Tour, there's a sweet Hoyt bow that goes off in the raffle.
Yep.
And everybody who's got raffle tickets has a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're probably responsible for what happened here.
We are. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Pasqua's going to get the credit, but I mean, really, it belongs to us in the back.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. I was present when he was out. So Chris Pasqua of Is It September Yet? And those who don't know, what is it, Jason?
It's basically, as far as I'm concerned, the best elk hunting. I mean, he's did a real good job moderating it. It's diehard elk hunters that eat, breathe, live, sleep elk hunting.
And where can they find it?
It's a Facebook group. Is it September Yet? I know they're working on a web page, and he's trying to grow that brand, but he did a great job.
Sweet new logo.
Yeah,
Chris is doing a great job.
Yeah.
Bringing elk hunters together
Yep.
in that place to share ideas, share products, their experience with gear, whatever.
And it's one of those. It's a great forum or a place because it doesn't have any bickering. I mean, it's moderated well enough that it's handled. I mean, there's disagreements, but they're all civil, and so it's kind of nice to get away from some of those other pages that bicker and blah blah blah. And it's straight elk hunting. It weeds out. Even some of us mule deer fanatics, bear hunting fanatics. That's kind of all straight elk hunting.
So it's fun tonight because Chris was here and he won the raffle.
Well, he is the luckiest guy
Yeah.
at any of these because last year he won the trip to Bend too.
Yeah, when he was outside, we were out there at a little break, and he said, if I win that bow, I'm gonna.
No, he said, I am going to
Yeah.
win that bow.
Shut up.
No,
Yeah,
he did.
He did. He called it.
He said, I'm going to win that bow, but I'm going to give it back. And I said, well, you got to, don't let it get drawn again. Make sure you have it go off for
auction it off.
Shut up.
Get some more money. And he said, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And so,
So yeah, I'm out there and I'm going, you're not gonna win, dude. You're not gonna win that bow, but that would be cool. And then
He
when
wins the bloody
when he
bow.
wins, I'm like,
Well, it was funny because they were having everybody kind of sit down as the numbers got lower, and he's standing up there, and we're like, he's gonna win this bow. And so then he sits down, and we're like, oh darn it! And then all of a sudden, he had so many tickets he couldn't find the winning one. And finally finds the winning one, and he comes down, and Jason's betting against him, going, he's going to keep the bow.
Well, he's getting his picture taken with everybody. Like,
he's
I was like,
keep the bow.
he reconsidered this. Like, he's got a $1,300 bow in his hands. Like, I can go. He's like, no, but he pulled through and went and.
Yeah,
I had all the faith. I kept saying, nope, he's going. He's going.
No, that's not. That's not how it went down.
Pretty much to a T.
I believe it.
So
he gave it back, and then we end up getting into
show
a big bidding war for it, and
auctioned it off again.
Yeah, and
we went to 11.
We got to 1,000. Me and you went to 1,050, I think it was, and then we backed out. We were going to split the cost.
Yep.
And then I said, well, shoot, I can sell that thing.
Yeah.
And
you do own an archery shop.
I do. I don't sell that brand, but
yeah,
under the table.
But so then what happens? Like, it went for how much?
1150.
1150. Yeah.
1150. So somebody won the bow
so
for 1150.
Portland ended up raising the most out of all the tour.
Just got to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Bloody right.
Yeah.
What was it? $30-something $100.
Well, do the math, please.
Yeah, we all look.
1150. That's got to be like 3550.
Got to be.
24, 1150, 35. Bam. That was easy.
Just like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
No,
it's a neat thing.
It's awesome.
It's a neat thing.
For what it's for. When they showed that in the tour, you know, that little film thing and all that, man, that just.
So Wishes for Warriors has now raised about, or the Full Draw Film Tour raised 4 Wishes for Warriors with this pink hat. I think
there's 12 something, wasn't it?
No, I think they were over
15.
I think they're over
15
15 grand now.
Yeah.
Over 15,000 now, and they were talking about getting to 20.
Holy.
Five more shows.
They got 5 more shows. I'm pretty sure
gonna do it, eh?
they're going to do it. Yeah, they're going to do it.
Especially if Chris goes to the next 5.
And wins all the bows.
Yeah.
See, they've got to get a strategy going. They're peer pressure in the crowd because they tell you what the last show paid, and then everybody's competitive.
We don't want to lose.
You fill a house full of hunters.
Well, that was the thing when I was bidding for that hat. I'm like, my heart's starting to go, and I'm like, I don't like to lose. I'm in this thing.
I'm in.
And then I came to my senses and said, I can't do it.
That's cool, though. It's
the thought that counts, right? I mean,
make sure you get in early so someone can outbid you.
Exactly.
Then you participated
because I don't know if my heart
money.
I don't know if my heart was pounding because I was getting scared I was going to have to pay for this hat, or that people were looking at me.
Or your wife would find out.
And my wife was going to find
that's
out.
why.
Well, elk season is coming up right around the corner.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, exciting. And Jason, you manufacture and make and produce some stellar calls. We had you on one of the podcasts earlier. So just give folks out there a one bit of elk hunting advice for this season.
All right, I'm going to go completely away from calling. It's just tenacity. You know, you can do everything right in the world, but day 2 or 3, you're sore, you're tired, stuff just isn't going right. Find it somewhere. Whether you got to dig deep, whether it's through a hunting partner, but don't give. Hunt and then treat every stock like it's your last stock. Last day it seems like, well, I can always pull out all the stops and make it happen. Hunt every hunt and then just don't give up.
Yeah.
You can be the best caller in the world. You can, have the best strategies. But to me, I think it all comes down to, the guy that's willing to chase every bugle, the guy that's willing to walk over the next ridge, the guy that's willing to drop into the hole.
Yeah. What was that? Rogue Wild. We saw their film, which I really enjoyed it. And I thought their film was pretty cool. And one of the things that they said in the film was, with bow hunting, elk hunting, it can change in a moment. Yep. You can be in the lowest of lows. You can be hunting all week for 6 days and not see a single elk. But all it takes is just that one moment for everything to come together.
Yep.
But that one moment doesn't exist if you quit.
Yep, exactly. Just be tenacious and I think that's the best word to kind of sums up. And
Jason, that's kind of a cliche answer. I was kind of hoping for something more, deep and
That's hey, I've always told.
I love it. So, Corey, same for you. Bit of advice for us elk hunters approaching September.
Stole his answer.
Yeah,
He's going to say something like, no, go ahead.
For me, it's just have confidence in like you say, just got to hunt hard, because in my mind, September is the shortest month, and it only comes around once.
Yeah.
And you've got to take every bit of that opportunity when you have those days, and you better be hunting from daylight to dark. Regardless of what the moon is, regardless of what the weather is, it's still September, and it's going to go by really fast. And then we're all on Facebook talking about next year again.
Yeah.
And so
you only got so many Septembers.
Yes. And as I get
older. My wife's birthday's in September. I just completely forget about it every September. It's rough. But there's only one.
Yep.
So you got to you got to push it.
Yeah. It goes by so fast. I mean, a 14-day hunt becomes 10, and 10 becomes 3, and 3 becomes none, and it goes by that fast.
Clicks off fast.
You're just like, when you get there, I know getting to camp, I'm like, oh, we got 16 days, this is forever. And then the next thing you know, you look.
I've only got 4 days left.
You're counting by, and it's like, where did 4 of those days go? I don't know.
I usually kill one in the first 2 days. So it's like, I go home and. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I have been really lucky when I've been to Idaho. I've killed probably the majority of my bulls I've killed there. It seems like they have happened on the first day.
How do you feel about that? Like, if you kill an elk in the first few days of the season.
Relief.
Do you?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I love it. It's like last year I did that same thing. We drove to Idaho. I bought my tag at 9:49 when the store closed at 10. I got my tag. Drove up there, killed my bull that same day, and it was one of those huge reliefs. Like, we've got 2 tags to fill, we've got 9 days to hunt, and it was like, now Charlie can enjoy it. I don't feel like I'm hogging the hunt, and it just kind of takes that edge off.
That's the thing too, is that like both Jason and I love calling and love playing that chess match. So it's like freedom. Now that's what we can do is call elk and not have that thought of having to fill my tag. Now it's done.
I feel really good about having meat in the freezer. That makes it exciting for me. And if it's a bigger bull, that's just icing on the cake. That's great. But there's a bit of disappointment. Like, there's still 20 days left, and I am not hunting with a bow in my hand. Yeah. That's gotten better since I film a lot, and then of course calling for buddies. But I was in Arizona, and I actually passed on a great bull because it was too early in the hunt. I wanted to hunt more days.
Okay.
You know how much easier it is to hike those hills with no bow?
Here's the thing. I want to shoot. Nice. I want to go through all this pain and turmoil and stuff, and then shoot one on the last hour of the last day. Just that's what I want to experience.
Okay.
You're crazy.
Okay, right?
Mark's like, give me any day. I don't care if it's first or last.
No, this will be my first animal, right? So I want from you I want some advice for me. I mean, I'm so hyped up from this, but then I'm also scared to death now, But this whole thing, okay, there's no shame for me, right? To just shoot the first bloody thing that comes in, right?
Mark, if you miss, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Impale myself on the spike if I have to kill that thing with my own body weight.
Hey, don't worry about the size of the horns for your first
I'm not,
10.
Right? Okay.
Or even
No, we've established. If that thing has milk on its lips, but it's got legal horns, it's going down.
Good.
Oh yeah, no, I want the meat. I mean, it's only been 2 years, and last year I come home and my kids were, "Did you get any elk meat first, Dad?" And I tell you, I felt like a tosser. No, but I got close to them this time though. I heard them; they were real close, but the jack pines were so big I couldn't see the bloody thing.
Okay, let's just smell it.
We could smell the meat, Dad. Thanks.
I'd like to get this story out in the open right now. Last year,
it's a story.
Like a boss, I called in this great bull for Mark. And Mark, so there's this.
With my vast hunting experience.
There's this open clearing, right? And I'm right at the edge of it. And then if you go past the opening, you walk into jack pines, like a Christmas tree forest that's just over your head height, and you can't see 2 feet, right? So I'm
It's
like,
a good place to hide.
right. So I'm back here, and I'm like, okay, Mark, he's coming in fast. This bull's coming in on string. I'm like, get up there about 60 yards, 80 yards in front of me, and intercept that bull when he comes down the hill. So Mark's like, okay. Well, I can't see what's 60 or 70 yards up over this crest.
Yep.
Mark gets over the crest, and he literally walks these 70, 80 yards I told him to, right into the middle of the jack pines, where he can't see 2 feet.
That's a really good place to shoot your bow, isn't
right,
it, Jack?
totally.
Pines?
Like, I'm
Yes,
like, hey,
and
Mark.
these stories get better and better as he tells them. I want to hear this version. This, what, 10.4? Bloody hell. He's down in a freaking ravine, and he's screaming in my ear. I'm about crapping myself, right? And I'm running, and I can't see. There's all these bloody jack pines. And I run up, I'm like, okay, remember, you get your bow, but get ready for it. I can hear the thing coming. And then I can hear it. It's within 20 feet of me, okay? And I know it's close enough, but I don't want to move until I can maybe see the thing. But he's screaming in my ear. What do you want me to do? Tell me where to move. Where should I move for the call? Should I go left or right? And I know the bloody thing's right there. And so eventually I try to whisper, Brian, it's right in front of me. Vroom, vroom, vroom. It takes off. And then another one comes in back here. So I turn around and I start running back. Well, of course, the wind blows towards it and it sniffs me, and then I'm a bollock for it. That's how it went down.
That's not how it went down at all.
Did you get good footage of the techno hunt?
Yes, I did.
So
And
I'm believing your story a little bit.
thank you.
He
Actually-
comes in to shoot the techno hunt, and he could barely get his release on. He's
I was scared. Yeah, well,
we let two bulls walk because he couldn't quite get the release hooked on him in time.
Actually,
it was dark in there. Bollocks. It was nearly pitch black. It would have been illegal to shoot the thing in that light.
no, but seriously.
It was cool, though, that thing.
It was
right?
really neat calling those elk in,
Yeah.
and Mark had them literally. They were 20 feet from him in the jack pines, and which now he's learned, like, he's not going to go into the jack pines. Next time
Keep
he's going
a
to
buffer,
stay
yeah.
Right.
where it was going to pop out of those things and give him a nice, great shot. But
Yeah, don't set up in the sunlight either. Stay in the shadows.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And in front of the tree, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. Don't hide behind a tree.
No.
Not behind.
Then you can't get your shot off, and there's all this problem. Trust your camo.
Get your arrow hung up on all the brush, trying to move your
Yeah.
bow around.
I want to ask, have you ever called in an elk when you're up a tree?
Never have.
Never been up
No?
a tree.
I have,
You
But-
called in an elk while you're in a tree?
but
Oh, in tree stand, not.
yeah.
Ah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I don't have the patience. I got like 1 minute in a tree, and that's about as long as.
Because
you're
I know if I'm on the ground, I could.
Move.
Yeah, I can find that elk.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
not
not
a
patient
tree
enough.
guy, and I don't like heights.
I had a tree stand for 1 day, I think, and then sold it.
Yeah.
I fell out of a homemade one once.
You guys are pansies. I love tree stands. I just tell you, I love them. It's
Yeah.
like the experience you get in a tree stand is just super cool. You get to see so much. Like when the elk or deer do come in, they have no idea you're there, and you're right on top of them. It's a cool experience.
For like me, we're thinking
You
it
Western
might be,
hunters, you
it
like
might be good.
You sound like a whitetail hunter.
But
Brian.
it's so long waiting for that moment.
How do you not fall asleep?
It doesn't.
Well,
I'm listening to Gritty Bowman podcasts.
There you go.
Well, we've been doing stuff now, a lot of work ahead of time going out and doing stuff and cameras and salt and stuff like that. So we're going to be up there beforehand and getting there good and early, So I'm hoping I'm up a tree. It gives me a little time to breathe,
So you can find your
Yeah.
loop,
Yeah. Yeah.
rattle it on there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've hunted out of a tree stand before in Texas and stuff, and it is, but it was more of a platform. It
Yeah.
wasn't- they tried to get me up into one other tree, and it was swaying. And I'm like,
I love that. I love it. I lived in a treehouse for
it was
like
13
9 years.
degrees. It was icy, and I had no safety harness, and I got right to the thing, and I'm like,
Yeah, I lived in a
and it was
treehouse.
for a turkey, and so I'm like, this is not worth a turkey.
No, yeah.
So I got in
no,
the ground and shot it off the ground.
Oh.
Wow.
All right.
Well, boys, men, thank you for coming, joining us
Yep.
today.
Thanks
and,
for having us.
And
we got. Did
yeah.
we talk about what's going on?
tell us what's going on,
in
Jason.
Eugene?
You've got a
August 21st, myself and Aaron Snyder from Cafaro International are going to be doing an elk calling seminar / hunting seminar / gear seminar, whatever we end up talking about, at Factory Bowtech, the pro shop.
In Eugene?
Eugene, August 21st.
Oregon. In Oregon.
Yep, Eugene, Oregon. Starts at 6:30. The actual seminar, I think we're going to be around definitely before that.
I'm going to try to film it, see if we can pull off a little video of the whole thing, too.
Yeah, it should be a good time. Aaron's a wealth of knowledge on the gear side. He's got some pretty decent strategies for elk hunting, and then I'll definitely talk, in depth about kind of my approach, my strategy, and then kind of my calling tactics.
So if people want to go, what do they do?
Show up, 6:30, free admission.
Bowtech
Factory.
I want
Pro
to
shop.
All right, boys. Thanks
for having
this
us.
is like the shortest podcast.
Yeah,
I know.
We got more to shove in the queue here.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Mark.
Thanks for
Thank you, Mark.
everything. Corey. All right.
Okay. All right, we're here with Mike Crawford, and where the Full Draw Film Tour has wound down, and everyone has left the building except for the
Crew.
Full Draw Film Tour crew. So we kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Full Draw Film Tour, and we had a bunch of the other guys on a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And we asked them some of the same questions we wanted to field with you. So before we get into that, though, can you tell folks a little bit about yourself, who you are, and your background, and how you got involved in the tour and why you're involved in the tour?
My background is I've been an educator. I just retired in June, 34 years, teaching high school.
Teaching high school? Really? That's what I
Yeah.
went to school for.
High school math.
Wow.
And so and Enterprise is where I just got through retiring from. I'm still coaching and
In Enterprise, Oregon.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm still going to be coaching. But lifelong passion of being a hunter, and my buddy Mark Bales and I, literally back in the mid '80s, started filming each other hunting, and the first 3 Full Draw Film Tours, we had a film in the tour. We have since been working on trying to, figure things out. Video is one of those things that's very difficult. Long story short, right now we don't have any more video at this moment, but we got a lot of years of video in between. So that's how I got into the Full Draw Film Tour. And then now, I don't know, it's really become more passionate for me. I don't know why I've connected so much with Wishes for Warriors, but if it doesn't touch you,
You're not breathing.
oh man, I've just seen some amazing things with it, and I get to work with some amazing people, and it's something I want to do for a while.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Well, Cody Kellum has just joined us. And for those of you who don't know Cody, he
live under a rock.
Yeah, we already interviewed him, and stuff. But real quick, can you tell some folks about you that may be listening to the podcast for the first time?
Yeah, so I helped start Full Draw Film Tour 5 years ago, and then I've also got a production company called Born and Raised Outdoors that do some do-it-yourself bow hunting, filmmaking, you name it. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, I kind of missed out what Mike had to say, but to touch on that, like I met Mike, was it about 5 years ago?
yeah,
Yeah, at the Portland show, I think it was the first time I met you. And it's been an honor and pleasure I've always kind of looked at Mike as like the mentor. I mean, he's been a coach all his life, a teacher, and like having him now involved in the tour, it's just been like truly touching to really get to know him further, and I've just grown fond of him and having him involved. It's just been a blessing for sure. So
That's great.
yeah.
We had I wanted to ask you, Mike, as I asked some of the other crew members, what has been for you? What has been one or two of the most standout experiences you've had as you've been part of the tour?
with the film tour, I would tell you there's
Background music.
Yeah, it works. It happens like that. I would tell you that one of them, the very first time actually seeing one of our videos on a big screen and watching it and just be like, wow, I can't believe that's actually happening.
Yeah.
And then since then, I think that realizing that the film tour is way beyond just showing archery video at this moment. It has blossomed into something, and it's growing into something even more. But it touches a lot of people in a lot of different ways. The people that are in the room are passionate about what they're doing. We all share a common, goal, and I'm a goal-driven guy, and it's one of those things where I see something really cool happening here, and I want to be a part of it and push it forward, or help push it forward.
Cody, what about you?
It's kind of interesting. Mike and I always kind of like talk about some moments that happened throughout the tour. Tonight was one that I mean, outside of what happened with Wishes for Warriors, but on a personal note, there was a gentleman that reached out to me about 4 years ago, and actually it was his friend, and his father was killed in a tragic accident during elk season.
Yeah.
A tree fell on this trailer in Tillamook, and this guy was going through a rough time, and he watched one of our videos, and it was like the first smile he'd seen in months in his buddies, but he didn't have the money to get a bow or anything. So I had a bow. It works out. He was left-handed. Anyways, long story short, that was 4 years ago, and I got to meet him tonight. I'd shipped him that bow, and now his whole life's, he just came up, gave me a hug. It was just like trying not to cry. the whole thing. But he came tonight, and I got to meet him for the first time. And
I didn't know that story.
No, it's just something.
I met him because we both hunt blacktails.
Yes.
And so we connected and exchanged some stuff, but I didn't know that about him at all.
Yeah.
And I learned that tonight, and that's pretty cool. And you were involved 4 years ago. That's neat, dude.
And so full circle. Finally got to meet him and give him a hug. And he doesn't know how. He kept saying, we watched your videos and it totally changed me. And it's like meeting that guy changes me.
Yeah.
It's for him to be inspired by it's pretty touching. So.
Well, to bow hunting, we talk about it a lot as part of the film tour. We, Gritty Bowman is all about, a lot of it's about bow hunting. We talk hunting, but bow hunting lifestyle. And sometimes, people on the outside look at that and they're like, "You're going where? You're going to a film tour about archery films?" They're like, "What for?" Or I have friends that ask, "Well, why do you shoot a bow? What is it about a bow?" And I remember when I went down and saw South Cox at Stalker Stick Bows, and we talked to him, hung out with him for a couple of days, and he had his recurve bows and his stick and string, the real old-fashioned kind of stuff, your Indian bow, and he's out there shooting, right? And when we interviewed him, we talked to him, and he said, and it's stuck with me ever since, that when he saw someone go out and shoot, like he'll have a little kid or an adult for the first time, put an arrow on a string and shoot it and go, "Oh, that was cool."
Smile.
Yeah. And there's something there just really is about shooting an arrow that unless you do it, try it, you don't really know what it is that you're missing, or why people are driven to it and the lifestyle it entails.
Yeah, see, for me as an outsider, that's the thing that's gotten me. He's an exceptional person, a human being. South is.
Yes.
Just an incredible person, and that's why. And then you just telling this, what you just told, that freaking moved me. And that's what I've found is that, as being somebody who's come from the outside people just there, and I've seen hunters, they whack a thing, they hold up the horns, and off they go. I really think this seriously is going to be a movement that could really, really change a huge majority of people's minds, like about their mindset of what hunters are. Because it's a family thing. They got the kids. We had like a bunch of kids here tonight, and then there's this stories like this, and then this is a beautiful thing that I'm getting to be part of in the beginning. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying, Mike, the tour is become something besides just archery films.
This year's my first year being up on the stage, projecting, and it's kind of the teacher part of me, but it's like when you march up 48 kids like we did today, they're all bright-eyed and excited about getting anything, the fact that they're getting a ticket, let alone a prize or something.
Right.
And then to see a little guy win his first bow, I don't know. There's a lot of special moments. And when you were talking about the tour, the very first thing, was it's real. And I think that the comments that happened for me when I was first in the tour and people saw us is like, holy smokes, everyone knew exactly what I was feeling on the good side and the bad side when those things happened. Mm-hmm. And that's because we didn't edit that out. We weren't doing recreates. It was, and I wasn't trying to put anything down that you see on TV. It's just that this is the way it happened. Unedited, and the people appreciate it.
Yeah.
And anybody who's ever been a bow hunter, we were talking about it tonight. Stuff happens, and both good and bad. But it's a unique group of people who do it, and I haven't met very many who weren't. If they were into bow hunting, they were good people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the one thing that rings true. So actually, the gal that was doing the sound tonight, she was like, "Thank you for exposing me to something new that I'd never." I mean, she's never been around it. She didn't understand it.
This gal in Portland that's helping with at the theater.
Here in Portland that was helping at the theater. We're in downtown Portland, southeast. It's hipster.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is like.
No, I lived not too far from here. 15 years ago. And trust me, I mean, it's a different. People are different.
Yeah,
and this is going to change people's minds. I know it.
Yeah, and she was wide-eyed, asking questions, total respect and to what bow hunters are.
Yeah.
And seeing the passion, like she said, the whole passion behind what was going on.
Well, and that's something too that this thing is the money that you're generating for Wishes for Warriors. That's a whole story all in of itself as well. That the community comes together and donates and gives money to these charities. It's a pretty special thing. What has been the most, I guess, with Wishes for Warriors? We haven't been involved in that charity before until now, or exposed to it before now. But Mike, you were talking earlier about how because of that charity, it's gotten more real for you. It's gotten more serious.
We got Brian Marshall's the guy that's president and founder of Wishes for Warriors, and I've actually had several opportunities to talk with him, and he tells his story about how he came about this foundation and wanting to put it together. And I can tell you this, the first time that I saw the Wishes for Warriors trailer play, our deal is, we're standing off to the side, and we're all amped up to go back out on the stage, and who wants to go hunting? And Cody had put this Wishes for Warriors clip in prior to the intermission, and I stood there and I watched that clip, and even right now I can feel it in me where it choked me up. And I didn't have any of that who wants to go hunting in me. It's like, you come out and you share that if that doesn't touch your heart, that there are people who are struggling with, that have done everything for us, the ability for us to do what we have every day and take for granted. Mm-hmm. And then you see the rise of the people and recognize the veterans in the crowd and have everybody stand up and show them that they really appreciate that they've done something for us.
Honestly, I didn't really get it so much until I saw the video, the film of it, the short clip, and then it really does bring it home. That's why I think film is so powerful.
Yeah.
You're right. As soon as I saw that, I was turning to my wife. I saw it a few shows back, and I was like blown away by the concept, by the men that you see in there that are struggling to get back to some kind of normal life after their years of service.
Oftentimes talking to Brian, like these guys have been in their house for 3 years. don't go to the grocery store. They don't function in society because what they've experienced. And like, I know that one case when they were fishing in Baja, I mean, that was a guy's first trip out, and like went from depressed, couldn't do anything, to going out, and then since that trip, full of life.
Oh, you could see it in their faces.
Full of life, just like that from that one experience,
Right.
and totally changed him to be back and, you know, be himself. So, yeah, if we can just have this much involvement in helping out like that, I mean, it's huge.
Yeah. Before we go, both of you have been involved in films and filmmaking, and since we're at the Full Draw Film Tour and we're talking about films, before we go, I want to ask each of you to share with the folks that are listening just one thing that, like, about filmmaking that you think would help them be better filmmakers. And ready, go, Cody.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing is the guy behind the camera has to be aware and cognitive of the situation, and he's got to draw out interview information and pull the story out of what's going on. And when I say story, the broad story, it's not necessarily a specific, you know, but the thing is that guy behind the camera has to be the one that engages whoever's in front of the camera. You have to ask the right questions and draw what's going on out of the guy that's being filmed.
So what you're saying, though, is if the guy's going to do that, he has to have in his mind a story already.
Not necessarily. You just have to understand what's going on and how that story is going to be created, and you've got to pull that out, and and understand that.
So how much of your story do you have in your mind before you film?
Maybe 25%.
Okay.
We kind of maybe have a theme.
Yeah.
Some sort of a theme, of what it's going to be, but in the end, what's going to unfold. I mean, the hunt's kind of the bird walk that goes off to the side, and then there's maybe some underlying message that we try and deliver.
So you're saying, as the cameraman, that you should really be kind of basically prompting or trying to get the footage you need out of.
Yep.
Do you do that by talking? You asking
questions, and then the secondary, when you hear that person say something, whether, like Trevor talked about, I forgot in the film, he talked about, I forgot my mountain house is back at the truck.
Right.
Video of back at the truck loading packs. Where all that B-roll makes sense when you have supporting footage of what he's talking about, what's going on.
You could have just stayed with the camera on Trevor the whole time while he talked about it, but when you said it's back at the truck, it just took you back to the truck going, whoa, that's a long ways back.
And the other thing is we talk about 3-in-1 shot. So you have a wide angle establishing shot of the scene, a medium angle tight, if a guy's glassing, you see his face and hands, and then the third shot is him focusing the binoculars.
Yeah.
Instead of having a 10-second shot of a guy glassing, you have 3-second shots or anything like that. That helps tell the story, and it progresses faster. It's more engaging, and it doesn't feel like the film's long. So
what do you think about the difference between someone who's tried to edit a film and does the camera versus someone who's never tried to edit film and does camera?
There's some guys out there that are shooters and do really well, but I would say if to progress faster is to edit your own stuff, and then you understand, I'm missing this, or I needed to get that, and you really make it up in the editing side.
And the reason I ask, I'm setting you up, but I've noticed that once I started actually trying to edit film and make a movie, I started to realize where I had big holes in my camera skills and my camera and the video I was capturing. I was like, I don't have what I need to tell the story I want. But I didn't really know what I was missing until I tried to do
put it together.
And so I've had, Ben and Anthony and Mark, and they all film. But because they haven't spent a lot of time editing, it's kind of the classic problem I used to have, where they'll give me their footage, and I'm like, if you had edited film before, you would have known to get this shot, and this shot. So interesting. Okay.
Now, see, that's been an interesting thing for me because I've not been behind the camera. I've been in front of the camera. And Mark, we had hunted so many times together. It's like he always knew what I was doing. He knew where I was going, and from the time we started doing a better job, he was right in my hip pocket, and we set up together.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it, we use a lav mic, and quite honestly, I could talk to him. He has headset on, so he can hear me clear as a bell. I don't have any communication back. What I heard from him here and there was, to talk, to say something. Even, it's like I had moments where it wasn't something I probably would have done, but it's like I can see the bull coming. It's like, come on, big fella, keep coming, and watch that happen and watch it transpire. And he's got a picture in his head of what he sees happening and what he wants the story to be, and maybe coaching me into where we should be.
Right.
We would stop and set up and do stuff, and he'd just turn the camera on and give me something to run with, and like Carbon Canyon, and I can go for an hour, and then you cut out what's on there, that doesn't fit. But
yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think that going in with a plan, not just going in and capturing stuff, and having the wherewithal to sit there and go, okay, I kind of know where I want this film to go or what I need, but then like with Mark, I know that if I push the right button, he's going to give me a reaction.
Right.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Bollocks.
And
for the button pushing it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you can just stand there and capture what comes, or you can actually create something as the cameraman to come.
Well, and the biggest thing is not to force it. I mean reality is far better than someone trying to act. We're not. But we're not Mel Gibson.
But with Anthony and his dad, with their film, like I recall trying to get Anthony to share his feelings about his father and their experience, and he had a very difficult time. It was all wooden, for a long time, and as an interviewer, I had to work. It was 40 minutes before the guy
finally
opened up, and started being real. And he thought he was being real, but he wasn't. And so as the cameraman, I think you can keep working with that person, pulling and coaxing and stuff until they give you what is there. It's still real. It was dead real, but it took a while for it to be there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think you have to have those moments that are part of real life where some of it is luck, some of it isn't, but you capture that critical moment, of that's what a miss sounds like.
Yeah.
And then it turns and it's like, what?
Yeah. If the camera's not on, you missed all of that.
Yeah.
You missed it all.
Camera first.
And that's what I'm always saying, keep the camera on. Don't turn it off. Don't turn it off. And that, I think you're totally right, Mike.
Well, even setting a camera up and having a campfire like we're doing right now, and you sit and have a conversation, old stories, new ideas about where we're going to go and so on, things that come out, gives you audio that you can use, video that you can use, things that will fit right in.
You're totally right. I went on a scouting trip with Mark and my daughter Caitlin and my niece just a couple weekends back, and we set the little GoPro up just on a stick right by the campfire in front of Mark and the girls and stuff, and they literally chat for 40 minutes, and it's 40 minutes of just laughing. It's just funny stuff and just us hanging out. And I don't know that we'll really share it per se, but my daughters watch it 6 times just to relive that whole campfire, and she laughs every time. And
it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, and
that's if that comes into your film sometime.
Yeah,
that is real, and everybody who watches it will know it immediately, and they will smile.
Relatable.
My daughter says that she calls it the stalker microphone and the stalker camera because I'm always turning it on, and then we're just hanging out, and she forgets it's there.
Oh.
And she has a little lav mic on, and she was out with her cousin, and they were out and she comes back. She's, can I take this off? And it's getting dark, and I'm like, yeah, you can take it off. She's like, whew, finally the stalker device is gone, and she's like, Michaela, let's go chat. It's like, So I don't know what they wanted to talk about, but they kept it all. They had to use sign language if they're talking about Dad because their microphone's running the whole time.
Awesome.
Yeah, but once they forgot about having that stuff on, that's when that real stuff comes,
Yeah.
and then you just go. Yeah, that was same with Anthony. Once he just forgot about me sitting there with the camera and just listening to him, they just talked. Once he just got to talking, that whole thing come out, you know. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys. It was
Absolutely.
a blast tonight. The Full Draw Film Tour was a hit again. Raised a lot of money for Wishes for Warriors. It was a fun time. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank
done,
you.
guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
It was great.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Brian.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cody,
Thank
pleasure as
you.
always,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, always.
Oh, brilliant.
All right, can you one-up it more?
All right, come
I don't
on,
know.
Morgan.
Let's see. You ready? Ready. I'm Morgan Gregory, and you're listening to The Gritty Bowman.
Ooh, bloody hell.
One of the biggest things we love our fans. We go to the show. Everybody thanks us for coming. It's like, if you guys didn't come, we wouldn't be here. But anyways, no. If our fans would just bring one person that has never experienced a Full Draw Film Tour at a show or a live event, if they can just bring one person, that would be huge for us because we would have been able to connect with them. Our filmmakers would be able to connect with them. And
that's what we've done each time. We, first it's myself, one or two people, and then it's 10 people, and then it's 30 people, and
you bet.
It just has like you said, if just one or two, they bring somebody new. There's that because it's such a moving.
And you can
experience.
Take that, and then you can have that non-hunter exposed to something that's really the root and core of what it is, and then that non-hunters, and it's that snowball effect where we can.
All right, friends. Thanks for listening and supporting the podcast. Don't forget about our deal with Mountain Ops. Type in the word gritty at checkout and get 20% off until the end of the year. For those of you who have not seen the Full Draw Film Tour this year and want to go, check out their website for their tour schedule. And if you haven't done so, go and subscribe to our YouTube channel or to the Gritty Bowman TV podcast on iTunes or Podbean so you can see all the latest video content we have produced. And be sure to have a look at the new Elk 101 website where you can find our podcast and other great elk hunting content. Thank you for taking the time to leave us your feedback. We really appreciate your sincere support of our show. Finally, let me leave you with this quote by President Theodore Roosevelt, who in 1905 said, "In a civilized and cultivated country, wild animals only continue to exist at all when preserved by sportsmen. The excellent people who protest against all hunting and consider sportsmen as enemies of wildlife are ignorant of the fact that in reality, the genuine sportsman is by all odds the most important factor in keeping the larger and more valuable wild creatures from total extermination." Friends, always take the time to educate those around you about your role as a hunter in preserving the wild creatures of this world. If you don't, who will? As always, good luck on your hunts and stay gritty.
This is Ty Stubblefield, and you're listening to the Gritty Bowman.
Gritty Bowman.